Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of You and Me and Multiple Sclerosis. My name is Pam, and I've been living with multiple sclerosis for nearly 37 years. And along the way, I've learned and discovered a number of things I'd like to share with you. Well, today's kind of a follow-on in a way. I had a video called The Things I Left Behind, and then just yesterday I did a video book review of A Journal of a Disappointed Man. And those kinds of things, maybe you could start to feel a little bit down. And I realized that one of the keys to living successfully with multiple sclerosis is to make sure that your life does not become too small. This, my video on teapots and safe spaces, I was talking about if you're in a comfort zone and that's where you need to be, that's fine. But I also said it's probably not very good to stay there forever. You need to branch out a little bit, or else you're going to find that your life is just going to become too small. There are things that you used to do all the time that you can no longer do. And so you're thinking to yourself, well, okay, I might have a long life yet ahead of me. What am I going to do with it? So I have some ideas of what you might do to keep your life from becoming too small. Comfort zones can turn into ruts if we're not careful. So I thought I would just share with you a few things. One of those things would be to let something new into your life. Color is a good example. We all get in a rut about certain colors we like and certain colors we think we don't like, whether it's clothing, whether it's home accessories, whether it's paint colors, whatever. But maybe think a little outside the box. Let in a color that you wouldn't normally maybe choose. Our brains are wired to respond to novelty in our environment. And so if you put something in your environment that's different from what you normally look at every day, then you can stimulate your brain. Color is an easy way to do that. So think about a color that maybe you would in the past say, no way, I don't really like mustard yellow, or I don't like dark gray, or I don't like burgundy, whatever. Allow that color into your life. You might find that actually, far from being repugnant to you, you might end up being a favorite. Well, another one that you could think about is something new that you could let into your environment is music. Most of us like to listen to music. Some of us even play it. But for most of us, certain genres of music have become what we default to. So whether you like gospel, whether you like rock, whether you like bluegrass, whatever you like, that tends to be the thing that you go to, and that makes you feel good, right? Certain music can really change your mood. The other thing about music that's interesting to me is that while your eye, as I've said, craves novelty, your ear prefers the familiar. So it's hard to develop a taste for a kind of music that you have not listened to in the past, but I would encourage you to do that. If you've never listened to, say jazz or country western, give it a try. You might find that you really enjoyed that. You don't want your comfort zone to turn into a rut, right? So this is a way to avoid doing that. Well, the third thing that you can think about for something new you can let into your life is food, right? Because we all need to eat. But let's face it, most of us have certain things that we like to eat that we default to, what they call comfort food. Each of us has something we prefer to eat. Either it's easy to make or we like the way it tastes. But think about this, that there are probably relatively minor things you can do to let a new food or a new recipe into your life, and it would just be a way of giving your taste buds some stimulation, because basically what I'm talking about, you've noticed that color for the visual and music for the auditory, and then the flavor of your food for your taste buds, for your sense of taste. All of those would provide a stimulation to you, and you don't even have to be riding a roller coaster or doing anything dramatic or scary. Your brain might even light up in areas that haven't really been stimulated much. One of the things that I've tried just recently, here I am with my trusty mug again. You've seen this in other videos. But what's in it today is something I really haven't tried in the past. It's called dirty chai. And when I first heard about it, I thought, oh, how disgusting. Who would even like that? It's part strong coffee or espresso, and part chai, and part whatever your milk of choice is. And I've used cashew milk here. I would say do thirds, 1/3 of each. And then you heat it up, and you can use a frother to make some foam on the top. You know what? I didn't think I was going to like it, but this is the 3rd day in a row I've made some. I've been experimenting with what is the easiest way to make it, because standing at the stove, stirring a pot, and watching it come to a simmer is not my idea of a good time, and it probably isn't for you either. So I found that microwave ovens work pretty well for this. But any kind of a new recipe or something new to tingle your taste buds, to give them something they haven't had, I think that's really a good idea, just to keep your life from getting too small. Okay, now a second thing that you can do to keep your life from getting too small is to actually learn something new. That sounds like it could be a really big stretch, but it doesn't need to be. One of the things that I've really appreciated is the book club that I belong to, because I am reading books that I didn't think I would like. Because I'll tell you what, if I saw those books in a bookstore or out on Amazon or whatever, I probably would not have been interested in them. But because the book club more or less forces you to read the book, I have found that a lot of books are way more interesting than I ever thought. So there's one way that you can sort of tingle your brain and get out of your comfort zone and keep from getting into a rut without doing anything too radical. But this will be good for you and keeping your life from getting too small. The other thing you can do is research a subject that you don't know anything about. Maybe you don't know anything about salamanders. Maybe you don't know anything about Saudi Arabia. There's lots of resources available to you for free on the internet or your local library. Maybe not become an expert, but you have these new ideas that you might even be excited by that you could share with other people. And it might stimulate conversations that you never have had before. Along that same line, you can think about learning a new skill. Now, maybe you can't anymore crochet or knit or do anything much with your hands, play the piano. I'm certainly finding that to be the case. My handwriting is dreadful. I think when I was 3, I had better penmanship than I have now. Maybe you can learn a few words in a foreign language. Maybe you can learn to sing if you don't already know how. I'm certainly not blessed with a great voice, but singing would be something I'd enjoy. If you're not the one who cooks, you could certainly be the one who finds new recipes. Whatever is interesting to you, whatever is new and different, that would just kind of get you out of your comfort zone and out of the rut that you might be falling into. Well, the third and final thing is not really something new necessarily, but something very important. And that is that every single day, I want you to reach out to someone outside your home, outside your usual circle, so that you can just keep connected to the greater world, to people around you. Maybe it's a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe it's that aunt or uncle who lives in a state where you haven't seen them for years or even decades. Connect with people. There's opportunities now, again, through Facebook and other electronic media, or you can dig up their phone number and do it the old-fashioned way and give them a call on the phone. I know they would appreciate it, because doesn't everyone like to get phone calls from people who aren't selling something and who just want to check up on you and see how you're doing and who really care about you? I think it would help elevate your mood as well as theirs. And again, it would keep you from getting into that rut that our days tend to fall too quickly into. And maybe when you're talking with this person, you could also talk to them about some of the new things that you're learning, the thing you're researching, the book you're reading, the new item that you brought into your home, the new different color that you haven't used before, and whether you like it or not. I mean, there's so many ways you can turn this into an interesting topic of conversation. Well, there you go. There are 3 things, and I'm sure you can think of more. In fact, I challenge you to think of more. Basically, you're just looking for anything that's going to light up parts of your brain that haven't been lit up on a routine basis in quite a while, because we've allowed our lives to get too small. Try to think of some things that I haven't even begun to hint at, because, you know, my life already might be smaller than it should be, so my imagination is being a little bit limited. But that's no excuse for you to say, well, she didn't think of it, so why should I? And I would love it if you'd leave your suggestions and ideas down in the comments below so we can talk about those and we can learn from each other. That's what it's all about. When we support one another, we all benefit from that. Well, that's all I have for you today. So thank you for your time, and I will see you in my next video.